Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you today. Yep. We've got some chaos going on in K-Town, and the big question, is it time to panic? We're going to talk all about that. Boy, the last couple of days, folks have been upset. I mean, they've been coming at me left and right. So you got to cover this. Man, we got all kinds of things going on, people leaving. And I'm thinking, I may have to form some sort of troop to be able to respond to all this, like a Mayberry Minutemen.
Will you help us?
But anyway, I don't think it's that bad. But we're going to get into this because there's some concern. But you know what? It's transfer portal time, and everybody's heading out. So anyway, let's get into all this. There's lots to talk about. Now, I wanted to cover this earlier today, but again, it's a Saturday. You folks know I'm stuck at work on Saturdays.
Drink it up, big boss! All right, drink it up, gambler.
But I was able to leave a little bit early. Boss man let me leave a little bit early. So I am able to get this out at a decent time. And I think a lot of this had to do with the whole Jordan Seaton thing. When that sort of got twisted and he wound up going out to LA, and that probably should have been our first sign that this is not looking good. And he winds up on Undisputed, and he picks Colorado, which wasn't even in his top 5. So obviously he was playing some games and having some fun at our expense, Ohio State, and of course, Oregon. But, you know, so be it. But that got everybody sort of in a negative mindset. Then here we are, smack dab in the beginning of the transfer portal, and that gets people concerned because Tyler Barron went into the transfer portal. But the big thing that seemed to get everybody upset was Boo Carter because he had some sort of handshake deal with Jordan Seaton. But I was listening to Blue Chip Breakdown, and he saw it very differently. He saw that as Boo Carter saying, hey, we had a handshake deal that we maybe still are friends regardless of which team we pick. And I'm going to have to lean with Blue Chip Breakdown on that. That's a bull over there on that channel. And he's a former college player, and he works with young players all the time. And I'm going to have to go with him on that. He seems to have a pretty good head on his shoulders when it comes to understanding the mindset of players because he was one. So anyway, I'm not as concerned about Boo Carter as everybody else is. I think he's solid Tennessee guy. You know, maybe he'll surprise me, but I kind of doubt it. But again, Tyler Barron entering the portal, that's the second time he's done that. He did it last year over money. This time it may be over money, or it may be that, you know, you got James Pierce, Joshua Joseph, you got Hobbs in there, and then Caleb Herring, who's also an edge, Chandavian Bradley, who is also an edge. And the reality is there's just a lot of really fast edge players at Tennessee now, and he may be getting recruited over a little bit. Now, he's still a really good player, and I'd love for him to stay, and I'm sure they're going to try to put some money at him to get him to stay. But the reality is we're starting to recruit over some of our own players, and we're seeing that in the secondary as well. And we'll talk about that. But one of the other things that seemed to upset everybody was Jonathan Eccles, who's our 2024 commit, who was supposed to play tight end, but his ranking had been dropping. At one point, he was a 5-star. He wound up dropping down to a low 4-star, primarily because I just don't think his stats were very good as a tight end. Now, I was also watching another channel, which was Talking Vols, and Coach Jay was on there as a guest, and he was talking about Eccles, and he doesn't think he's really a tight end. He thinks he's more of an edge rusher, but I don't think he wants to play that. So my understanding is he's committing to USF, which is Alex Golish, who sees him as a tight end, but not a lot of people do. So, you know, there's a couple of channels right there that you can listen to from time to time. They'll actually get you some really good info. And this channel right here, you know, I'm no slouch myself.
Don't sell yourself short, Judge. You're a tremendous slouch.
So anyway, I've been getting my information from all kinds of articles, YouTube. I mean, everywhere you can get it, I try to get it, just probably like you do as well. And I'm not real concerned about either one of those, which would be the Boo Carter or the Eccles. I hate losing Barron. He's a really good player, but we've got guys that are faster than him and probably a little bit more edgy. So, and that may be what Barron's seeing. He may be thinking I'm going to get less playing time, or I'm not going to get to play the edge that I want to because James Pierce is there, which is what Coach Jay mentioned. I think that makes a lot of sense. You know, he may be making what's called a business decision, and that may be the situation. Same with Jordan Seaton. You know, he may have just decided, hey, maybe there's more money at Colorado, or maybe he just really likes Deion Sanders. You don't know what an 18-year-old's going to do or how he thinks. You know, at that age, do you remember how many good decisions you made then? I don't think Seaton made a good decision, but he made the decision for himself, And I'm sure he's fine with it at this time. And the nice thing is, if it doesn't work out there, you got a bunch of money and you can always transfer the next year. It's no big deal. And it's just not as much pressure as there used to be when you'd have to sit out a year and get penalized by the NCAA. Now, the other issue is Addison Nichols. Addison Nichols has been given tons of opportunities to play. Now, he's only a redshirt freshman, so he's only been there 2 years. And he was a 4-star offensive lineman. We were hoping he'd fill in at center or guard, and it just hasn't worked out that well for him. And he may be seeing the forest for the trees on this. And that happens with players sometimes. You know, I remember myself playing at UT. Now, granted, I played on the golf team, but I was always 4, 5, 6, or 7. And if you're not top 5, you don't get to go to the golf tournament. And so half the time I went to tournaments, other half I didn't. And that's very frustrating. And I kind of knew I was on that edge. There were guys that were just better than me at UT that were all Americans, all SEC. I mean, they were just fantastic golfers. And I could have left and gone to a smaller school or gone to another school and been in the top 5 very easily. And I played in, and I'll very quickly tell this story. I had actually just missed qualifying to go to a tournament down South Carolina with the team. I finished like 6th. So our Coach Malarkey, sent us to another tournament that was a OVC tournament, Ohio Valley Conference. It was Tennessee Tech and teams like that, Western Kentucky or Eastern Kentucky. I can't remember how many Kentuckys there were. But there was about 16, 17 schools. And I went there as our A player, or, first player, plus 4 other guys. And we go there and we're playing a much easier golf course than I'm used to playing. When you play in the SEC, you play really tough golf courses from the back tees. Well, we get on this golf course and it's like 6,400, 6,500 yards. I'm used to playing 7,000. And the players that I was playing with were guys that, I knew I was as good or better. And I wind up winning the golf tournament and being medalist.
How's bragging camp going?
I only shot like 2 under on a very easy golf course. And I had a coach or two that was like, hey, if you ever want to transfer out, we'd be glad to get you a scholarship. You'd be welcome here, et cetera. But I couldn't leave UT. I am VFL, orange blood. I mean, there was just no way I was leaving UT. You couldn't have drugged me out of there with a team full of horses. Now, it might have been better for me to do that, to be able to play more, but it wasn't like I was going on the PGA Tour. I kind of realized that, a couple of years into playing at UT. So that may be the situation with Addison Nichols. Now, if I bored you with that story, I'm sorry. But anyway, that may be what he's thinking, is that I need to go somewhere I'm, more of the A player, not necessarily the B, C, or D player. As far as Turnage is concerned, Brandon Turnage, he flashed at times, but he just wasn't staying on the field enough. Same thing with Warren Burrell. They played quite a bit, but, really, these are 3-star guys that were playing the best they could. They've been there for years, and our secondary is not very good. So the fact that they've entered the portal doesn't necessarily concern me all that much. And you look at the guys that have entered, of course, Barron, Nichols, Turnage. Here's a guy, Bigelow, who was a low 3-star, Clipper, who was a 3-star, Jack Luttrell, freshman, 3-star, and then Warren Burrell. And like I say, Slaughters, they're talking about him possibly entering, et cetera, and maybe another fella. But look, we brought in a bunch of 4-star cornerbacks, like Jordan Matthews, for example, Ricky Gibson, who runs a 4.4 40. These are quality cornerbacks, and we're also going into the portal going for some guys that are proven. So it may be that, look, playing time may be getting really tough over there. As we bring in more talent, a lot of 4-stars, some 5-stars. Some of these 3-stars are probably, even if the 4-star guys are younger and play at the same level, they've got a higher ceiling. And for the coaches, they need to play those 4-star guys and get them going on that path. And it may be that we've gone as far as we're going to go with these 3-star fellas. It just may be the way it is. There are ceilings for every athlete. That's just the way it is. You're only going to play so good. And that's why, coaches want 4-stars and 5-star guys, because they've got the physical tools to go to a much higher ceiling. Doesn't mean they'll reach that. They may not have the mental mindset or the toughness or the work ethic to get them there, but they know they have the opportunity to get there. And if you've got a guy that's on the exact same level, but this guy's got tons of upside and this guy's at the top, the coaches need to start playing this guy, especially if he's younger, because he can meet that level and then exceed it. And that's what happens at every school as they continue to get better. Tennessee's doing this. Okay, they're on the up, and everybody can see it. You can see it with their recruiting. You're getting ready to see one of the best quarterbacks, I think, in the country in Nico. And I know that's saying something since we haven't seen a ton of him, but I'm hearing it from too many people that are experts on this, that this guy is going to be exceptional. and you're probably going to see this team performing at an offensive level that it performed in 2021 and 22, and we're going to be a very dangerous team out there. I have very little doubt of that.
That's right. Nice, man. I am dangerous.
And so while I know it would be very easy for us to panic in K-Town and all around Vol Nation, but my suggestion is to relax. That's right, RELAX. There are so many other teams in so much worse situation. We've only got like 5 or 6 guys in the portal. Ask Florida. They're losing their starting running back, their starting edge rusher, and these are guys that they badly need. And that starting running back, ETN, looks like he may go to Georgia, which is just, that'll just make the Florida people sick. So there are so many teams going through this. We're going through a little bit of it caused by Jordan Seaton and that whole thing in Boo Carter. I'm not as concerned about the Boo Carter thing. If you want to worry about it, I totally understand. I think he's solid. So, we'll see. I could be wrong. But anyway, I don't think there's a whole lot to panic about. I think this is very normal. We're just not used to all this portal news and all this. It's going to get worse before it gets better. I'll just go ahead and tell you. So you might as well just kind of calm down. And I think Heupel and his coaches have got this squared away just fine. And I couldn't be more excited about 2024. I really couldn't. I think we're going to be better on defense. We're going to be better on offense. And we're going to make that playoff. We're going to be in the top 12. Even if we've got 2 losses, even if we've got 3 losses, I think we could sneak in that top 12 and get that 10th, 11th, or 12th position. But if we lose 1 or 2, we're solid. No doubt. With our schedule, it won't even be questioned. So I wouldn't panic. I would relax and just let this process play out. And if you get too upset, just go over to the transfer portal of Florida, South Carolina. Texas A&M is falling apart. Look at Ohio State. Everybody's going through this. We're going through a fraction of what other teams are going through. So nothing huge to worry about here. This is just the way football is in college now. And at this time, I do want to thank today's sponsor, which is Eco Heating and Air. They have 3 locations, one in Lenore City, which is right next to Knoxville. They service that entire area. Jamestown, Tennessee, and Dunlap, Tennessee. Now, these folks are big-time Vols fans, and they had been watching this channel, and they reached out to me, wanted to see about sponsoring, and we discussed it and worked it out, and worked out really well. And it's really important that you take care of your HVAC, your heating and air, because if you don't, look, it's getting ready to turn cold, and you know how bad it gets in the summertime, because if your unit goes out, it'll be 85 in your house in about 10 minutes, and nobody wants to deal with that. Well, guess what? In the wintertime, it does the opposite. It's getting ready to be under 30 degrees every night, so you'd better have your HVAC ready, that's for sure. The last thing you want is your unit to go out and then it's 10 or 15 degrees at night. So Eco, which is known for their really fast service, they have a maintenance special right now that includes 2 visits, a 21-point inspection, and a special UV cleaner that they'll add to your unit, the type they use in hospitals. And you'll get that for free as part of their maintenance agreement. So be sure to check out Eco Heating and Air. They have great ratings, whether you check out Google or Yelp or wherever, and they take really good care of their customers. I can tell you right now, several years ago, I didn't take care of my HVAC, had to replace the whole unit, and that was $8,000. And that was back then. What do you think it would cost now? So be sure you take care of your HVAC. Don't be like me and don't be like Aunt B.
Why didn't you call the man?
I should have called the man like you said.
That's right. Call the man. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover my Vols, the SEC, and of course all the big stories. You know I'm all over the Michigan story and all that good stuff. And if you've not subscribed, it's on your right, my left. Just hit this little button right here. It'll help you get my videos, cost you nothing. And right over here is the most recent video YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.